Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm having a 1:30 cup of coffee right now. Sometimes I do what I have to do. I'm looking at CNBC. Jamie Dimon is being interviewed. I'm sure he's got a lot to say. Good old Jamie Dimon. The prices are looking. We've had a pullback this morning. I tell you what, I've waited. I'm sitting here staring at this XRP price, and I'm tempted to go in and buy a little bit today on this dip. Folks, this thing is, you're going to see it in this video, this thing is about to go nuts. And I think there's got to be a lot of manipulation going on right now. I was having lunch actually with my brother today, and I was talking to him about something, and I said, man, I've been here so long, I can't sell any XRP. There's too many great shoes to drop. We got the Ripple case dropping, then the ETFs. You got Wall Street coming. I could list 20 or 30 things that are imminent, that it's like, all I can do is accumulate. It's like, why in the world would I sell XRP? My brother, he's got a trigger finger when it comes to that kind of stuff. But anyway, so I want to remind everybody, if you want to join the group, you can click that below all my videos. Go in the description and you'll see xrplasvegas.com. Go check it out. XRP Las Vegas, I mean, there's a lot of big timers that are going to be there, and there's a lot of people coming. And I'm telling you, if you're thinking about getting a ticket, you better hurry. The plane flights are going to be tough to get out there since Bitcoin Las Vegas. The hotel rooms are going to be tough to get. So if you're thinking about it, don't sit around and wait. Raoul Paul says, you guys all need to learn patience. This was 2017, very similar macro structure. 5 times 28% plus pullbacks in Bitcoin. Most lasted 2 to 3 months before a new high. All saw 65% corrections. All were noise. Go do something else more constructive than stare at the screen. Well, I've told you many times myself, anytime we have pullbacks, I'm either buying if I have money available to buy, or I just don't pay attention to it. Just walk away, because this too shall pass. Look at this. $64 billion asset manager Citadel to offer crypto trading and become a liquidity provider for cryptocurrencies. The crypto market has not reflected what's coming, but it will in a big way. Write it down, folks. And then there's this little video was put out by Ondo Finance with David Schwartz talking to one of the guys from Ondo.
But I think we're going to have to turn the corner to institutional adoption and towards retail adoption with use cases that actually have real world utility and aren't just completely speculative. And that's going to mean access to the real world financial system and assets in the real world. So real world asset tokenization is the big one. But
folks, once you get legislation, real world utility is on like Donkey Kong. It's coming. Look at this from Ripple. DekaBank is rolling out crypto trading and custody services for institutions built on Ripple custody, a clear sign of growing demand for institutional grade crypto custody solutions. And then a little reminder here, Eleanor Terrett put out that Michael Saylor met with the SEC task force on Friday. And I want to remind everybody that this guy can't be trusted. He is not for crypto. He wants a Bitcoin monopoly. Don't take my word for it. This is him before Trump got elected.
When Ethereum is not going to be approved, sometime this summer, it'll be very clear to everyone that Ethereum is deemed a crypto asset security, not a commodity. After that, you're going to see that Ethereum, BNB, Solana, Ripple, Cardano, everything down the stack is just a crypto asset security unregistered. None of them will ever be wrapped by a spot ETF. None of them will be accepted by Wall Street. None of them will be accepted by mainstream institutional investors as crypto assets. This is the one universal consensus accepted institutional grade crypto asset in the world. There won't be enough.
Folks, this guy's so full of crap, and it's crazy to watch all these Bitcoin propagandists try to put this guy out as some kind of hero. He's a nut. Breaking news, Montana House rejects bill to make Bitcoin state reserve asset. Look at this quote. This is a quote from one of the people in the state representative, Steve Kelly. It's still taxpayer money and we're responsible for it and we need to protect it. These types of investments are way too risky. I bet they own gold though. Meta lawman, SEC closes investigation into Robinhood crypto business after previously issuing Wells notice. The post-Gensler SEC appears to finally recognize that most crypto tokens are not securities. We should see dismissals of cases against Gemini, Kraken, Binance, Ripple, and others. The only reason I list Ripple last is the complexity involved in negotiating a resolution. Ripple is the only live crypto case with a final judgment in place. So the SEC and Ripple lawyers must negotiate what to do about the judgment and the money escrowed for that judgment. He says, for that judgment, that takes time. So he was a securities attorney. I think he's retired now, but so he knows what he's talking about. Look at this. Pam Bondi just declared the restrictions shielding administrative law judges from removal are unconstitutional and will no longer defend them in court. This allows President Trump to fire those who have been secretly perverting the Constitution. I would also like to add that last year the Supreme Court ruled that the SEC's use of in-house judges to decide enforcement action was unconstitutional, so the crooked deep state judges have lost all their legal support. Man, how great is that? And this is blockchain backer. The XRP price is starting to reach levels that are reasonable to start looking for bottoming price action again. He's making me want to go buy some more today. I think I'm going to have to after this video. Well, this level whether this level holds or one more dip, it seems like this range action is getting close to being over. Video will be out in 1 to 2 hours. Look at this. Uphold has got a billboard in Silicon Valley. Uphold APIs advertise on billboards in the Bay Area. Check that out. Uphold, I believe, is going to be massive. Now, you remember the conversation about Trump and Fort Knox?
We're also going to Fort Knox. I'm going to go with Elon. And would anybody like to join us? Because we want to see if the gold is still there. We want to see. Wouldn't that be terrible? We open up this Fort Knox. It's just solid granite that's 5 feet thick. The front door, you need 6 musclemen to open it up. I don't even think they have windows. Wouldn't that be terrible if we opened it up and there was no gold there? So we're going to open those doors. We're going to take a look. And if there's 27 tons of gold, we'll be very happy. I don't know how the hell we're going to measure it, but that's okay. We want to see lots of nice, beautiful, shiny gold in Fort Knox. Don't be totally surprised. We open the door. We'll say, there's nothing here. They stole this too.
Folks, let me tie some things together for you in your mind before I show you a couple more gold videos. I've told you for a long time that I thought that Bitcoin was created by governments to send the herds away from gold. Why would they need to do that? Well, what if they realized that there wasn't the gold in the vaults? And what if they wanted to distract with Bitcoin long enough to go out and buy and accumulate as much gold as possible? And then all of a sudden he goes in there and you find out, hey, not only is the gold there, but it's more than we thought. And then you do something, I don't know, maybe you do a gold price that set it to what it's really worth because it's been manipulated all these years. But gold, folks, all this silly talk about gold, let's replace the gold with Bitcoin. All of that could be one big operation. Listen to a couple of these videos and it might come together in your mind. Here's Andy Schechtman.
To give you an idea of just how big it really is, the largest delivery that we've ever seen in the history of the COMEX market is 47,132 contracts. That's 4,713,200 ounces of gold. That happened in June of 2020 during QE to infinity. For the February contract, we just saw 59,296 contracts stand for delivery. By far, by over 12,000 contracts, it's the largest delivery ever in the history of the COMEX market. That's almost 6 million ounces of gold.
This is physical delivery.
Physical delivery. Who's got that money, right? It's all coming from London. You're talking massive deliveries. And the premium right now in New York versus London has hit as high as about $80 an ounce, meaning they're supposed to just be a few cents away from each other, or you get arbitrage. It's $80. Well, it's come off that now, but at its peak last week, it was $82 per ounce more expensive to buy gold in New York than it was in London, because they want in London to attract you to buy more of the paper, whereas in New York, it's standing for delivery. This is massive signs of stress. To give you...
What if the U.S. was accumulating gold like all these other central banks to get those stockpiles up at the cheapest prices possible while they put everybody out on CNBC and everywhere else, like Anthony Pompliano, go Bitcoin. You won't ever see on CNBC them talking about gold on it. You'll see them talk about gold, but not. They won't do it the way they do Bitcoin, where they try to get the masses to see this as some place to go put your money. Ever. There's a reason for that. Here's Andy Schechtman again.
So I guess the main buzzword around gold right now is the rehypothecation. I'd like to talk about that and get your take on it. And what does this actually mean? Let's dumb it down where it's real, just simple and easy to understand. And what might happen, or what will happen after this thing really gets into full swing.
Rehypothecation is a way for, in this case, the commercial banks to lend, or to sell rather, a specific contract that each person who holds that contract believes that they're the only one who owns it, but they sell it over and over and over and over and over again, repetitively, to different people. Because the thing of it is that in this case, most of the contracts that have my whole career been issued on the COMEX exchange, as an example, or on the LBMA, never stood for delivery. And so if everything cash settles and you're a bank with unlimited resources, the ability to cash settle if you need to really isn't much of a problem. But if you have to deliver against these naked contracts, which have been rehypothecated, you have a problem. In other words, they have, let's say, silver, each contract is rehypothecated 2,000%. That means 20 people hold the same 5,000 ounce contract. And if 5 of them say, well, I want to stand for delivery, there's a problem. What if all 20 say, I want to stand for delivery? There's a very big problem. So rehypothecation is the act of selling the same asset over and over and over again.
Okie dokie. Now, wanted to remind you of this one. This was going around in like 2018. That's Jim Rickards, who's a gold guy. This guy to his right's a gold guy. Listen to what they say.
Actually, you can't do it with Bitcoin. You pay $50 for a $2 cup of coffee, a $50 transaction fee.
You don't know what it's going to cost you in 10 minutes.
That's exactly right.
There are some cryptos that are working with regulators and are working with banks. I agree. Ripple would be an example.
Ripple would be an example, right.
Now this is and I can imagine in the next 5 years, instead of us doing sterling against the dollar or sterling against yen and doing these kinds of transactions, we'll do sterling versus Ripple. And the reason being, dollar right now is a 2-day settlement. With something like Ripple, you could do settlement in seconds. And I think that there's a future there where the guy that's trading spot FX today will be trading spot FX against Ripple in the future, in the next 2 or 3 years. So I think that Ripple has a great future because it's right now supported by all the banks and by all the regulators.
And it has an elastic monetary base, right?
If we take that and you go to the blockchain ledger, if you take that concept that you're discussing, I have no problem with it. I agree with it. But you're talking about money. You're talking about transaction, medium of exchange. There has to be something behind it, and that's where I'm going to pull this conversation back to gold. There has to be some sort of reserve asset. The problem with fiat currencies right now is that they can print as much as they want. digitally or whatever. They just it's not tied to anything, and so as a result, the value of the money can be negated. It can.
All right, so here's what we're going to do, and you can go below this video and just click on the join button to join through YouTube, or you can go to daixrp.com. I do extra content in there, and I do it ad-free, so if you don't want any ads, you can go in there. But today we're gonna talk about, sometimes in there I talk about things that I just wouldn't talk about on YouTube, because YouTube, I've had experiences. You're not able to say just anything out here. So we're gonna talk about that island guy, and then I'm gonna tie it together with crypto too. And this is probably one of the most amazing things on it that I've ever seen. I'm gonna show you. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family, away we go.